From hosting BET's 106 in Park, slaying red carpets, and creating some of the dopest multi-viral content, we got Paigion Walker in the building. Stay tuned.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
What's up, world? Welcome to Go Viral, where we interview the world's hottest entertainers and influencers, and we capture their moments of viral fame. We have a special guest in the building, and of course, we have our special segment, which is Viral Vice, and we're going to ask Miss Paigion some questions. But first of all, let's introduce her. She's an actress, a host, a red carpet correspondent, a radio personality, multi-viral content creator, and a true dominator of her world. Guys, let's give it up for one of Detroit's finest, Paigion Walker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was so good.
Listen.
I was like, thank you, guys.
Listen, the numbers and the credits don't lie, okay?
But I appreciate it. All thanks and glory.
Yes. So beautiful. How are you doing?
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So first of all, I
blessed.
want to get into it. We talked about you going viral. Back in July 19th of 2017, you did a sketch comedy called What Women Really Wish They Could Do When the Bay is Leaving. Let's talk about these numbers, y'all, okay? It was about 1,505,000 views.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk about that. I mean, tell me a little bit about the creation and actually how you went viral.
You know, the thing I think where you stop, like, the creativity is when you say, like, this is the one. I know. I wasn't trying to, like, go viral, or it wasn't ever a thing. I think I just enjoy being a creative. And all these ideas, like, come to me normally. I thought of, like, 4 sketches on the way over here, and I was like, oh, I can shoot that. Like, because it's everyday things, and these are things that I think and live, or I watch other people do it, and it's just life being lived, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you created this, like, what were you thinking? Like, were you like, you know, I'm sitting down with my girls and we're so sick of these dudes, and like every time they got these little things going on, you were just like, you know, well, let me just do this. Like, what was the actual thought process behind this particular one?
Because, you know, it's not that thing where, like, oh, she crazy. Like, she gonna do that to me. It was all of those, like, extreme things, like dyeing his teeth blue and, you know, plugging it in the toothpaste and then setting the booby trap so he can't get out the house. So it's like all of the extremes of what we wish we could do just to keep him there. Like, we're just gonna be sitting here watching our shows, just watching the shows. But I just want you to be right here. So
Exactly.
what can I do?
Yes, but listen, I mean,
Hide your keys.
Take
Take all your drawers.
everything, okay? Because literally, like, in this, completely funny. I mean, I can't even. I watched the
thank
you know, I also like the part when, you know, you put the little stash in your
when
butt
it was all-
and you were just like walking like, Vic. That was absolutely funny. But I want to
you.
also talk about this particular video as well. You had a gentleman that was with you.
Yes.
So how do you go into the process of actually creating the video in terms of like who you choose?
Well, Tyree and I did that video, and we worked together a lot. And people, you know, thanks to everybody who supports us, because people really, really like our chemistry, and it's super organic. We don't even try. It's not anything that we're rehearsing or overdoing or make sure you say this. It's just all in natural chemistry that we have with each other. And so we think of these ideas, structure it, and sometimes they're written, but, you know, as far as like the structure.
Right.
But they're never with us. It's just like, let's just go. I had this idea. I know exactly what I want it to look like. Let's go from here to here. Just a skeleton.
So this is like a straight like Paigion in the moment, like nothing else. This is what I would do, and I'm just gonna like flow into it.
Yeah, but then, you know, you always, you may have this skeleton, but then it's like, all right, what do I do to bump that up though? Because there has to be like punches.
Right.
So that people get the
Punchlines.
laugh and the
comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, okay, I can hide his keys. But no, I can take all your drawers and delete your Uber app. And like,
So like whenever you were filming this, like, did he know what you were gonna do, or was it just straight organic?
he knew, but I don't know, and I love Tyrese so much, but I don't know if it dawned on him that I had really put the blue stuff in the toothpaste.
Oh my God.
So when he did it, it was like a real reaction. He was like,
Yes, those are the best.
yeah, he was like, this is really like blue. Like my whole mouth is blue. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be gold. It's so good.
He's probably like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill her after this.
But it was like, oh yeah, it's gonna do well. Because people feel, you know, that's an organic response, and we're not
Right.
being corny and pushing it too much.
Right, and like those natural moments are always the best. It's just like, this is how I would actually act in this moment, so that
Yeah.
it comes out super real.
Yeah.
So you hit 1 million. So how looking at your phone, right? And you post the video in that moment, and it goes from 0 to 1 million. Like, what were your thoughts?
I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm very like, my mom always says this. She's like, you always downplay things. And I'm super appreciative. And it's like, because I love to entertain and I love people to just have a reaction and, make people happy.
Natural.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily set out for it to just be like, okay, I hit 1 million, now we're going to do, I don't know if I need to be more like that.
Right. So it was just a straight, like, really, like, you just being purposeful and intentional about what it was that you wanted to create.
Yeah.
And then you had viewers, like 1 million people who just decided to follow you.
Yeah, I think, too, because a lot of people know me from prior to me shooting sketches, it was like radio and then television. It wasn't shooting sketches. I would just do like randomly funny things on my page, but it was never something that I was just doing like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, I'm gonna do like, no, that wasn't a goal at the time. Like, that was what I was gonna do. But then I got here and there was just so many creatives around and I was like, oh, this is a way that I can flesh out my creativity. And where people, and then I started realizing, oh, they didn't even know this part about me. I know me. And like people who are around me, but it wasn't, I guess, public. Speaking of that.
No. Speaking of content creation, I wanted to ask you a question because I know that Issa Rae made a statement back about in 2017. She talked about how you need to be able to network, not up, but network across. Like, like you have friends who are grips and people who, write and produce and direct. How do you feel, like people like Issa Rae have actually made it, better for you to be able to create your own content and be able to understand what it means to network across the board? Yeah,
I think that it's, I'm just glad that she has that platform in that form to make it like public. Because, when we're in our crews, we think like that. Like, okay, all we got to do is get together and we can just, but now it's like, oh, I think her establishing her success and really growing her brand and her creativity allow people to publicly acknowledge like, oh, there's a lot of gifted people. There's other people out here that I could just work
put on.
With. Yeah, it's possible for my friend to be this great, and you grow together. And I think we don't acknowledge that a lot of the times. It's the same thing that the people that we looked up to prior to that, they all worked in circles. That's why you see some of the same people in the same movies.
Like Gina and Tommy.
They all worked together because they came up together.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing. It's just like, all right, let's really absorb that thing. And I think with social media, sometimes it can be like me.
Yeah.
Me. But when you get into those creative groups, like you said, you have grips and DPs and ADs, and you're like, oh, I have everything I need, which then even confirms even more of you have everything you need right in front of you.
Right.
Utilize where you're at right now.
That's true.
All that over perfection of, what if I got to make it, like, no. You could set that phone up and just start. Just do it.
See, she said set up the phone. Not the camera, but there's a camera on your phone. Because we were working on phones
when we did that. Like, the beginning ones, that was off a phone. We got all of that off of a phone.
Wow.
So it's like, it's
1 million views, y'all, off of an iPhone. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, iPhone and the idea, and just executing and having other people that you trust and believe in you as well. Like, I trust him, and I trust his natural reaction of what he would do, or me giving him a script and saying, okay, now make it yours.
Right.
And then him doing it, I trust him.
So speaking of another video that you did that went like 1 million, which it was like a couple of months after that, because you did this one, I believe, in July, and this one was in August, and it was the hardest decision a woman can make. Oh my God.
That had people so spent, because I knew exactly, I think with that intention was, I went with what could they possibly think it's about.
Right.
So it was like, how, not dark, but like, how dark could people go, like, to what they think this is? And I was like, that's good. That's exactly what I want. Because I don't like the obvious of, like, I guess the next line, whatever. It's like, oh, okay. That was creative. And then you have that thing where you relate to women. It's like, I have the same difficult time picking out a color. Right. And so that's where that came from. And shout out to my friend Ayana.
Yes, she's amazing. We're going to be seeing her soon, y'all.
Yes.
Now, I also want to know this, too. Of course, like, whenever you make the videos, you have people who also want to, give comments. So, like, how does it feel, like, when you have, like, a thread of comments? Like, do you feel like you have to respond to all of them? Or, like, how do you choose which one, you respond to, which one you don't respond to?
I think that... Again, it kind of goes back to me being like, oh yeah. Like, I'll hop on. I can literally hop online and then hop off. Like, even though I'm a social creator, I don't know. I just really enjoy living in the present. But I'm so like, I have to say thank you because I really do appreciate it. So if I do hop on, when I do hop on videos, I try to go through the whole thing.
Sometimes it's like 335. Like, do you actually look and say, well, I'm gonna stop at 100 today, and then tomorrow.
It depends on like if I have something to do, and most of the time I have something to do. So that's the only thing that takes me away. But it's not because I'm not appreciative or I don't. But sometimes if I'm just sitting on my phone and I'm with someone else, or I'm supposed to be present, I really enjoy being in the present.
Right.
So it's like But I go back and I do them. Even I may do something 6 months ago and be like, I skipped this one. Let me go back and comment. So if y'all see something from me coming last Easter, don't. It's cool. Just
because the comments are still there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I feel like, wait, I'm still appreciative. Yeah, so, I try to get it as soon as I can, so that way it's not like.
So you make people feel appreciated.
Girl, I mean, 3 month mean.
But it is. I mean, look,
it's hard though.
But when you have 335 plus or maybe 500 comments, like,
I mean, it is hard. Or then you send that one at the top, so if they go back to see, and you just say, "Thank you, everybody."
Yes, that's right. You give like a general thank you.
That means you. Like, yeah, but I try to do all of them if I can.
So, I mean, I know, of course, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your success with BET and Baller Alert and so many other things, but, getting that 1 million viewer, from your own Instagram.
Yeah.
Was there, like, any type of emotion or feeling that you had about that? Like, did people treat you any differently?
I guess, yeah. I think because it stepped into another realm.
Right.
Because I was super fresh into me even. I think at the time it wasn't a lot of, like, girls like shooting their own ideas, that we were like featured. And at that time it was kind of early for girls to be shooting their own ideas, executing them. And I edit all my own videos. Wow. So like color and all of that. So it's like, oh, you want to shoot, you want to come up with the idea, edit, color, right? All of that. And it's like, oh yeah, I could do it too. So, but shout out to my friends who take the time also if I have a question or if it's like, let me watch you do this, or just sitting around and just literally observing. Right. How they execute it. It's like, oh yeah, we can do that too.
Wow.
So yeah, I think people too, because sometimes people get carried away with like, oh, how many followers,
how many followers you have,
how many likes you get, and then you get into this other tier of like,
well, I didn't get a comment on that one, and I wanted somebody to say something about that particular time in the skit.
Never been like.
Into that.
Yeah, I appreciate how many people enjoy my creative, and that makes me happy. Mm-hmm. But as far as like getting caught up into now I've arrived because I'm accepted. Like I've never been that type. Yeah. I don't, because the followers don't make you at all.
Oh yeah.
And now you can just do ignorant stuff and get something. So it's like, in comparison, like, you could be so great and then do something ignorant and you still have the same amount as me. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean?
Matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you take it for what it.
Because like the world's watching, But I mean, I think that's actually a good point to make because a lot of times, like, why do people want to go viral? I feel like people want to go viral because they definitely want to be seen. But, when you, know who you are and you know that, your intention is about creating something great.
Absolutely.
And the content is amazing and you can be able to own that. It's like now going viral feels something different than what it would normally feel just in case it's like, okay, well, I'm going to submit this because I want to get like 1 million followers.
Yeah, it's the confirmation if you need it. And we all need to receive, confirmation just within ourselves. Like, okay, this is possible. This is what I can do. But there was no doubt in my mind that like I can think of these ideas and execute them. It was just like, let me just do. Because I'm a perfectionist.
Right.
So I'll sit on something and... I said on something 2 years ago, like,
you'd be like, I
could have done this. Why did I wait?
Yeah.
But it's that thing, once you do get the million, people that views and people that comment, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm in the right direction. This is exactly what I wanted to do. It's just that reconfirmation of, like, you're in the right place at the right time. And enjoying what you want to do.
Alignment, man. That alignment.
And that's the main thing for me. It's not about like the figure, because I think when you get caught up in that's a drug.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to go that far where I felt like I'm leaning on this thing.
Right.
I don't, because as far as the creative is concerned and the gifts, like that's a part of you.
Right.
That's what you're blessed with. So it's like, I I was supposed to do these things. That expectation is that you were supposed to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're supposed to be great.
That's right. So so it's like going viral. Like I'm supposed to go viral. Like
supposed to be
that's
great.
who I am.
Yeah, so we can share. We just, and then you connect different people, and then that's how you meet other creatives.
Right.
So once those numbers spread, it's like, oh, okay. And then people see your talent, and then it's like, oh, okay. And then you see how you can work together. And so then it just continues to build from there.
Right.
So that definitely helped, and it created a lot of other relationships, and then friends that I've garnered now, and just, other associates where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. I'm glad I met you.
See, that's amazing. It's amazing. But I also want to talk about you going viral in terms of, being on BET. Because we know that you did host 106 & Park on BET, which is like one of the best shows, from BET. But tell me a little bit about how did you actually get into doing that?
Well, I really started in radio. So I started radio when I was 15, like super early. Then I became an intern. Fast forward 3 years of interning. And then I started doing radio, and then I got a full-time show. So I had been doing this show, and then it was on YouTube. My homegirl AC posted this video of me playing around like I was an ESPN reporter.
Oh,
and
wow.
it turned out someone saw that and then started listening to me on the radio. So I was doing radio middays in Detroit, and they used to tune in, and they were like, oh, I know all about the Dollhouse. I've been in there. And I'm like, what? And so there was this email that came, and I was like, is this real?
I know, right? Because you were just like, a lot of people send you emails like...
Because I don't know.
Right. But you're like,
is this the real one? Then I looked it up. I was like ignoring them. Like, who is this trying to get some money from me or something?
Look at it. Destiny was chasing
Yeah, I
her.
ignored calls and stuff. And then I listened to a voicemail, and it was like, oh, yeah, it's real. Wow. And then they were like, can you come to New York the next day? I didn't even talk to my boss at the radio station. I was like, yeah, I could be there. And then I had to call him like, so I'm going to go to New York tomorrow. Is that cool? Because I've already agreed.
Right.
So I went there, and then I did some screen testing, a lot of screen testing. And it's like way before I was officially the 106 host. So people didn't really know that I'd already been in there. So I used to fill in for Roxy, and then it went on to, we did an hour of Notarized, and they shot it in my hometown. So that was like, yes, I get to shoot this at home. It just really like shine and show like, I got it, I'm ready. And I think that was the main thing. Radio prepared me for that. I was so ready to do it because I was used to creating and ad-libbing and painting pictures without people like seeing me. There was no physical, and it wasn't as like viral as it is now, where it's like, oh, tangible,
Right.
So being able to paint those vivid pictures and then transitioning into television, I'm glad I did radio first, because by the time I got to prompter, it was like, cool, I can read that, move, but I also can ad-lib, because that's what radio is. We just have a conversation and make everyone feel like it's a single, it's individual. So once that happened, I just became like a BET host. So kind of just put me in the field or whatever, award shows, and then went through this whole thing, and then I had it permanently, and then moved to New York.
See, the funny thing, I'm listening.
But it was an email. It was an email, and I
It-
sent the video. The same friend.
I was literally getting ready to say that. Like, it's just listening to your story. It just seems like from the beginning, like you were just like viral was just meant to follow you, because your friend posted a video of you.
Yeah.
You didn't think anything of it, right?
Nah.
Put it out there, right? And
Yeah.
it just it went to the right people at the right time, and it connected you to one of like the largest TV shows that the whole world knows. You know what I mean? But it's like that whole process before, like you didn't even think about it.
No, I didn't think about that, and I also. I guess it was one of those things, like my parents always taught me, is to always perform and always be at your best. Not perform as like be this show, but always be at your very best and give out your very best version that you have at that time of yourself.
Right.
Just do that. And they found me on the radio. It was how that came about, and then they looked online, and then it was like, oh, this, and they were like, oh, she does well in her city, like her city loves her. So shout out to Detroit, like for all of the support. And then they start making calls. And it was like, do you know her? And then that's how it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know her. And then they got in contact, and then it just went from there. So it went from being on radio and just making it a thing and just really owning my space. And because I was young on, starting in radio. Mm-hmm. And that was that time when they were like, oh, you're green. But nah, I'm prepared. I'm young, but I've been observant and just gotten my hands dirty and got in the field. I was an intern, and
Oh yeah, that intern.
I was
is like-
promotions intern. I wasn't even in programming, so it was like
Wow.
I'm a double up, and then I started doing that and
Start learning how to be your own PR.
yeah, it worked out. And then I have great friends that were just like, "What you need? What we got to do? Like, okay, let's set up. Let's record." We recorded at the radio station. They got the video back, and they were like, "Yeah, come in." And I started doing screen testing, and then from there, just like earned my space.
So how was that experience actually being on BET? I mean, of course, radio,
Yeah.
you do have an opportunity to be able to, interview celebrities.
Yeah.
But how was that being on stage in front of millions of people and interviewing people where it's just like what you see is literally what you get?
Yeah, I think the greatest thing about it is I dreamt of that when I was a kid. I said I was going to do that, and I think one of the coolest parts was seeing like my friends excited. Like I was excited too, but I'm real. I don't know. Stuff don't hit me till late, so
Yeah.
it's like.
And why is that? Like, do you feel maybe
I think it's a
not
humble
hitting
thing
you
of, like-
because well, you said that you're a perfectionist, so maybe you're thinking like, okay, well, maybe I just want to focus on what I'm doing so I can make sure I do it great, or
Yeah.
what is it?
I don't think I like harp on myself too bad when I'm in the moment. It's not like a thing where I'm like overthinking.
Yeah.
I don't have that thing, but it's like I expect myself to do well. Like if I say I want something, it's like let me work my way to getting into that thing. I don't know how, and I remember saying I don't know how to get on there because I've only heard that you have to know someone to get in there. I don't know
Right.
anyone there.
Exactly.
But then it was all of me doing what I was supposed to do and being in the space I was supposed to be in and working hard. I'm 3 years through college and just remaining in there. That intern program was over. I was working from 5 a.m. to midnight, Monday through Sunday. And sometimes till 2 in the
that's
morning,
more
passing
than
out
12
flyers on the street for record labels. Like I was moving late and I was like 17. But it was, let me get out here in the field so you can see that I'm ready, I'm willing, and I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared when that opportunity comes. So when I did get that call, it was like, all right, cool. I know I got this opportunity. I'm going to screen test, and let's make this great because I got this shot. And I don't know what happens after this. So, yeah, it's a blessing. And I think being there, one of my friends was like, I remember in the 7th grade
Oh wow.
vividly when you were like, I'm going to host that show, and I'm going to wear some boots like free. And I was...
and that's exactly what you
and
did.
it worked. I was like, it
Wow.
works. Yeah. So I'm like grateful to God and grateful for my parents for like really believing in me and just putting me in those spaces like, all right, cool, you want to do this? Go.
So they like pushed you.
Yeah. Well, just allow me to explore like sports and just find out what it is that I enjoy doing.
Right.
And
so
it
you
was
tap
like-
into your
Yeah. So
your
I could find out-
creativity.
Exactly. And I've always been like super creative. So it was like, oh, well, what do you want to do? Well, you have to try these different things to figure that out. So whether it had been in sports or whatever, it's like, all right, cool. I think, this is it.
This is it.
This is what I love doing. Starting with the toilet paper roll.
But see, I mean, but it's like in those moments when like you find like this the smallest things that just you do every day that you find that okay, this is actually a gift that I'm supposed to use and like take and explore. Now, being on 106 and Park, you hosted that for a while.
Yeah.
What were some of the opportunities that actually came from being on 106 and Park for you?
Oh man, there's so many of like this is the one and only time that they had ever done a live broadcast from like Dick Clark stage and it was huge. And I was like, oh, one day when I was little, I was like, one day I'm gonna host a New Year's Eve show live in Times Square. That's what I want to do, and I did it.
Wow.
It was cold, and I was like, I don't know if I need to do this again. I don't know. It was so cold, but I would not complain. I would definitely do it again. But yeah, I got to do that, and I got to go on tour with Rihanna. That was like, we was 7 cities, 7 countries in 7 days. That was amazing. I met a lot of great people.
So how do people treat you?
How do people treat me? Like,
No, I'm just saying, like, like you're on 106 and Park. Like, did you ever have that moment where you're like, wait a minute, like, did you ever feel like you were a celebrity or like, did people treat you like that? Like, you know how sometimes people make you feel like you're different.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever have that moment?
I think that I was aware that people felt differently about me.
Right.
And so, yeah. And then you have like people that cry when they see you and all that. You're like,
and how do you deal with that?
that's so sweet. Or I remember we went to Sweden and like the girls, like the young kids, they knew who I was. And I was like, how? They were like, we watch watched the show and, online and all that. And I was like, that is so cool. We don't even really speak the same language. As far as like English being their first language.
It's like, how do you even translate what I'm saying?
But we speak the first language, and that's the love of entertainment.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. And I just love the way it was widespread, and we can have this likeness. We're not that much different. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to cover so much ground.
Right.
And just...
And see, like, that's the thing about going viral. Like, when you go worldwide, like, you have no idea who's looking at you.
Yeah.
You don't even know who you're actually inspiring.
Right.
Which is a good thing,
Yeah, exactly. And then you continuously are inspired. You meet all these different people. You hear all these different stories. And, yeah, people treat you different. And I'm just glad I never felt like a celebrity. So that's cool.
Right.
Like, I mean, you feel like it as far as, like, when people do stuff, and it's like, no, I can hold my own thing. I don't need you to hold it.
Yeah, but like, sometimes, like, when people start feeling like a celebrity, sometimes that's when they start getting crazy.
Yeah, and then, like, let somebody hold that over their head. Like,
right.
Do you come up under here, too, and I hold it.
Or, that's when I get on WorldStar Hip-Hop. Like,
yeah.
Now, speaking of that experience, like, because you were on WorldStar Hip Hop, I feel like, honestly, I just feel like you just dominated, like, the whole Viacom. You just went across the board.
Man, I was like, thank God. It's another thing I manifest, like, another thing that I felt like God had for me, and I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And I remember putting that on I made this vision mirror. I had just moved to LA. So I had only been here probably, like, a month and a half, 2 months, something like, probably 2. And I put on there, like, I wanted to be on a comedic show that was on MTV.
Wow.
And a week later, I got a call. Shout out to my homie CP. But,
yes.
I got a call to audition.
Right.
So there was another testing. But I was like, goes back to, I've already been testing for so long that
so
it's
how
like...
does that make you feel? You're like, wait a minute, I've already kind of, like, made it past this point and I'm still auditioning.
Well, I don't ever feel like I've made it past that point because they don't know me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're continuously growing. And there's all these different layers that you're pulling off, and it was a chemistry read. So it was like, how do you guys do? How do you orchestrate
do well
together?
With the host. Right,
yeah.
absolutely.
And so that's important. I did a lot of chemistry reads before, so that was, I was like, all right, cool. We treat it like any other time, and the main thing is you go and you be yourself.
Right.
Because that's why they picked you anyway.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully that was what it was, and it was like, all right, cool. I know the one thing that I can do right is to be myself. Me trying to I learned that too of me trying to do the thing that I think that they want.
Right.
That's not it.
And then it just kind of makes you get in your head.
Yeah, and then you bombing and you like, well, if they would have met me instead of them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it would be completely different.
Because, just like people like Cardi B, like everybody loves her because of the fact that she's herself, and it's like any moment that you get outside of yourself, you don't align with the things that are supposed to be for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
You can't control that thing because it's not who you are, and you just don't do that thing the best.
Right.
It doesn't shine as bright, and when you come into a room, people don't necessarily feel that thing that doesn't radiate off of you because it's not who you are.
Right.
But once you walk in that and you're really in alignment, it's a whole nother dance.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, you can't help but gravitate to like that's like that.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, that's genuine. Okay, I like that. Then I'll feel good about it. And as long as I know that I stepped in there and I did what I could, boom. Because what you do realize in this business is out of your hands. It's really not up to you. There's so much more that's going on that you think like, yeah, I'm going to just get up there and say it like this and what I want to do. No, you're going to get told what to say.
That's the part.
To a certain degree, you're not the writer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You're just like the communicator of whatever's been written.
Yeah, you got something creative in there sometimes where you can kind of ad-lib and do your thing. Yeah, make it your own, but
it's all teleprompter.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. It depends on what it is.
But most of the part, like, do they give you a script?
Yeah, it's like if you're doing like a segment or something that's sponsored, that has to be exactly what it says. You know what I mean? Verbatim because they're paying for it. But yeah, it's a script.
You still acting, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a script. You like, oh, dang, I'm gonna say that.
Now, speaking of opportunities,
make it your own. Yeah.
It's okay. Now, speaking of opportunities, you also have had opportunity to be a brand ambassador for some companies.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Radio. Radio was like a lot of the ways that I was able to get these different ventures because they come and they want commercials read, and then it's like, oh, okay, now you do voiceovers. And so then that branches out. You start making these relationships, and then they're like, oh, yeah, well, outside of this, we can do this. And it's like, all right, cool. Let's do that. Oh, Clinique wants to do something with, or whatever makeup brand or whatever this is wants to do something on this platform. All right, I would like for you to do this. And then now you're the representative of that company. So yeah, I'm super, super blessed.
And you know what's funny? Like, you know, a lot of times people are like, I have to get an agent, I have to do this, but it really seems like it's really about you being at the right place at the right time and being connected to the right source of things that draws those opportunities to you.
Yeah, because, you know, usually I have a lot of people, and especially like young girls or college students or whatever, they're like, all right, what do I have to do to get in the same position you are? And I'm like, man, I worked my butt off. This was not.
That's the part.
Yeah, this
was like, I'm going to look cute for Instagram and I'm going to put on this little tight thing.
Yeah, this was not that at all. Like, I earned every single bit of everything I have, you know, and more that's to come. But it's like, I remember them days when I was an intern wearing the same T-shirt, rotating 2 shirts out, and like. But I remember not wearing shorts as an intern and being like, I want them to take me serious. I was in my own head, but I don't want them to just give me something because they think I'm trying to run around here and be cute. Or
let's talk about that moment, because I feel like a lot of times people feel like whenever you're not being seen, that's when you don't need to work.
Oh, no.
Right?
Yeah.
But tell me, you know, you talked a little bit about you being, you know, an intern, because I feel like that intern moment was the moment that allowed you to create, to be able to go viral, to really be able to help you have all of these opportunities. So give me a little bit more insight of, you know, the process of the things that you did to prepare you for this moment, even when you feel like you weren't being seen.
Man, shout out to Unc. I'm like shouting at everybody. My mama. But shout out to Unc. You know, my mom always said that you were to introduce yourself to everyone in the building, no matter what you think the top and to what you think the bottom is, because it's not a bottom. They may love doing what they're supposed to do, and that may be their gift to scrub that ground. All right, cool. Turns out the guy who cleaned the building owned the cleaning company. He just enjoyed coming in there every now and then and doing it. Right. So introducing myself to him when I was like 17, 18, and he was like, you work so hard. You're the hardest working intern in here, and it's a bunch of y'all, but I see you all the time. At like top of the hour, middle of the night, you're here. Let me know. Man, you want to come in here and you want to work? Go ahead. Don't do that, because I didn't get in trouble or anything. Like, people really believed in me in that building.
But the fact is that he actually saw something in you. You know what I mean? That's what it was about.
Yeah, and then I taught myself how to work the board. So it was like an overnight show that was just running. And so I would go in there, and it was a back studio, and I would just press the buttons. And it was what I had watched other people do. And I was like, all right, cool. I can go in and out. And I wouldn't talk on the air, but I would just hit it so that I knew, like, this is rolling. Right. Cool. Then when I go out, boom, this is how I get to the commercials. And I would just do everything manually. That's before now the systems are like almost really automated. But I had prepared myself for that. And I was like, if I do this, if I know what it looks like behind the camera, I'll be good when I get in front of it, because I know what to look for. And so I was like, all right, cool. All these building blocks of how do I get it done? And then even what I said, like I studied film. I didn't go to school for radio. So I was like, all right, cool. If I get good behind the camera, then I'll know what to do in front of the camera. In front.
So it was, you know, not, you know, it was you training yourself, being at the right place, being at the right time, having these opportunities. But it was really you working hard that really got you into those moments of really being viral. Yeah,
and when you're an intern, especially back then, because it's a little different now. But when you're an intern, like I wasn't going to go get coffee. I was doing things that were like paid, right? Like real things where they really trusted me to do this thing to execute. But what I did learn is figure it out, right? Like, all that asking 50 questions, figure it out. Because you can. You're equipped. And there was a reason why you trusted me. Like, man, my first PD, Smiley, she, like, man, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was so hard on me. But she was supposed to be. And all of that set me up. So when I had to be on my own and do things and just get through it and just figure it out, she would always say, just figure it out. Either you're gonna sink or swim. My very first time on the air. My very first time on the radio, I did afternoon drive. Wow. Like, I never did an overnight shift. She put me an afternoon drive, and it was a winning weekend. And I was like, she said, so if you want to be on again after the next day, just have a great show and don't pre-record anything.
So you got to do the stuff that nobody else wants to do.
Yeah, and she was like, and do it live and make it great. And I'm listening. And don't have anybody in there with you. Do it on your own. And I was like, all right. She was like, and put it on Facebook too. Let everybody know to listen. And I remember there were people in the studio, and they were like, what? You told people to tune into you? You don't even know what you're doing yet.
That boldness.
But Unc knew. because I used to be in there practicing. So needless to say, I got back on, and it was a good experience.
Well, give me 3 vices that you would give creators about creating their content and wanting to go viral.
Stay true to you.
Stay true to you.
You don't, I guess that goes with stay true to you, but I'm like, you don't have to do what everybody's doing when they went viral.
That's true.
I guess that would be like a piggyback off of that.
And then number 3.
Don't worry about your numbers.
Don't worry. So stay authentic.
Yeah.
Don't do everything that everybody else is doing. And number 3.
Don't worry about your, don't
worry
drive
about the
yourself
numbers.
crazy about your numbers. Like, that's a business.
Right.
Someone owns that app. And they can set up algorithms. They can do whatever they want to do to that
When
app
they want to do
and
it.
give you the exposure that they want to give you.
That's true.
That all you have to work with is what you can do and flesh out. That's what you're responsible of. You're creative. And that's it, and let that live. Don't go through all that. If you know you're one that can't read comments, don't read them. Because that'll hurt you.
That's true.
And you'll just get caught up in it. And then also, like, put out good energy. Whatever you said you were on that camera, be that when somebody meets you. Put out good energy. And I think that's the same thing that comes to you, where you may not get torn up in there because people don't feel that when they come to your page.
Right.
Say your best self, because a lot of the times we limit ourselves because we only give this much. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the page that they had to try to grasp who you were. And a lot of times now, people just sum that up and think that's who you are.
Right.
People are like, but there's so much more to me. Well, then do that thing.
Show it.
Do that thing. That way, you've done what you can, and you owe no one that thing. But you owe yourself to at least try, man. You got to give your best effort.
Well, I have to say, Paigion, you are definitely a owner of everything you create and who you are. And,
Thank you.
Just listening to your story has been inspirational to me as much as it has been inspiration to everybody else. But everybody needs to know, where can they find you on social media continually?
It is at The Real Paigion. That's before we had verification. We didn't have people are like, why you have?
How do I differentiate myself so people know it's really
We
me?
didn't, yeah, because
Right.
when I first got on 106, there was a bunch, like, once that announcement came where I started guest hosting, there was a bunch of fake pages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, doing all kind of stuff. So it was like, oh, that's not even me. And then that's when I learned, like, oh, I have to put that in the front of it because
So people know who you are.
yeah, because that was where that came from. Sometimes I'm like, dang, I want to change that. But it's been that for so long that it's like, nah, I'm going to just keep it. And
Well,
it
we
doesn't
know
bother me.
that you always going to be the real Paigion. So if there's any other page out there, it's not her.
Yeah, and my YouTube is Paigion. It's just Paigion. Paigion. Yeah.
Well, guys, you guys know where to find her. You can find me on all social media platforms at NeemaSkye. This has been another awesome opportunity of going viral, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you for having
Bye.
me. You're so great.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.